was so true about entrepreneurs. They don't hear a no the way other people hear a no. Great entrepreneurs, they hear the no, but they don't accept it at face value, right? They look at it as a circumstance that they have to manage around. And great entrepreneurs approach their work that way. And I don't know if that's a coachable quality. I think you have to be born with it, or it has to be encouraged in you by your parents. The other thing that they mentioned that really resonated with me, on the margin of asking for permission or asking for forgiveness, I think an entrepreneur will be more successful if 53% of the time they're asking for forgiveness and 47% they're asking for permission. Because if you're trying to build a company and you're asking everybody that you need support from to give you their blessing before you act, you'll never build that company, right? So they embody this, story of their childhood about, well, they were asking for forgiveness a lot from mom and dad, and then this quality of, a no doesn't mean it's a no. A no means it's a temporary impediment to success. And then add on top of that, they're both really quite intelligent, and they're really curious, and they're driven. And that is a quality I saw in them. The first weekend I met them, and they made me a believer. There was not a really good corporate idea at that point. There was a hypothesis that we could build a writing platform, but really at that point it was an annotation platform. They had to keep evolving it towards writing, but they had the determination to keep asking questions and working till they really got something that the marketplace confirmed. Students need this, and it's an investable idea. Then we were off to the races. Well, I have a view, Ed, that the future of Baltimore in part is tied to the talent that we create in this town through our school systems and the talent we recruit here. And I think I'm always looking. And what's interesting now, from 3 years ago, where Citelighter, they kind of took the risk. They were kind of the first company that I know of that relocated here. I think Able Foundation probably convinced some to come. But I think others are going to follow. And it is a result of, in a way, suddenly they're respected in town, they're known, they're big fish in a medium-sized pond. If you're in the Silicon Valley in Boston, you're a little fish in a huge ocean. And they were able to differentiate themselves here to where people gave them the support that they needed at different stages of their company. I think that opportunity is here for other entrepreneurs to come. And my belief is that Baltimore has a unique opportunity to become a global presence in certain areas of expertise. Education technology, for the reasons they cited, cybersecurity. I mean, think of it, we're a stone's throw away from NSA, we're a stone's throw away from Hopkins Applied Physics, and we're a couple of stone's throw away from Washington, D.C., where policy is made. That is a very compelling combination of factors at a time where our security agencies intend to stand up new companies because they want the iteration to happen very quickly in the design of these protective mechanisms, and they can't happen in a big company setting, so they're launching teams. That is all happening right in proximity to Baltimore. It's a huge opportunity. And then, as I've mentioned several times, our universities are getting much better at translation. And we have world-class universities surrounding Baltimore, between UMBC, University of Maryland, and Hopkins. This setting it's like the perfect storm that is occurring before us. It was manifested, in my view, with the 1,000 people that elected to come to City Garage. And to me, that was the coming out party of Baltimore's ecosystem for entrepreneurship. And now that we've let the genie out of the bottle, we are not going to put back in. Well, I'm kind of the model of a capital markets career person who repositioned to actually invest in not necessarily the markets, but people that are going to create companies that in time will create wealth. But it's a very different staging, and what you look for and how you support these companies is much more intimate than being an analyst looking at a large Fortune 500. That being said, it's very rewarding work. So I take every executive who retires from T. Rowe Price out for lunch, and I have my let's talk about Baltimore. You know, and do you want your impact to be philanthropic, or do you want your impact to be helping mission-based companies be successful? And what is delighting me is that an increasing number of the executives are saying, well, I want to do both. And this will be fantastic for Baltimore. A second initiative that in my role at Baltimore we're working on is we're probably going to, I think if we just replicate the enthusiasm at City Garage in 11 months, that would be a success. But the next year the goal will be to invite in venture capitalists from across the country to spend a day and a half seeing what's available in Baltimore. So imagine this, you've heard about Baltimore, but you've never invested in a company in this region. You accept an invitation to come here. You get a 2-hour briefing at University of Maryland, everything in their developmental pipeline. Then you go and Freeman Habrowski and UMBC talks about cybersecurity. Then they showcase some of their companies. Then you go over to Hopkins and you learn what's going on in the School of Medicine and the School of Engineering. Then you come and you meet with angel investors and some of the companies that are already been stood up in our community. And then you end up at Beta City to see that there are 1,500 people next year that are believers and want to be a part of this ecosystem. So I think that this capital issue is still an issue, but I think we have a playbook that will begin to, over time, address this issue. What is happening in Baltimore is these isolated pockets of people who thought they were the outliers in being risk takers and entrepreneurial, or realizing they're part of a community. And I happen to think it will attract more and more talent, whether it's people that relocate here or people that have had very successful careers who will go, I'm in my give back mode, or I'm in my engagement mode, and I want to be a part of seeing the creation of great companies that will be the next T. Rowe Price or the next Under Armour. And it is going to happen. And when we really think of what Under Armour has done for Baltimore in 20 years, just take a moment and ask, if Under Armour had never been created, what would Baltimore be like today? What would the tax base be like? What would the population be like? That one decision to go and start a company and locate it here is affecting tens of thousands of people for the better every day in this city. My belief is that whether it's Citelighter or the next company or the company after that, we can do this again and we can do it often. And my mission for the rest of my life is to make sure this happens in our city.